Hello all, I hope you are having a fabulous day. My name is Reggie and today I will be sharing with you the mid-year book Freakout tag. This tag was originally created by Chammy at Read Like Wildfire and I was tagged by Ainsley from Books and Things. I know I've been tagged by a lot of you in many tags. I'm so far behind, but this one's kind of time sensitive, so that's why we're putting it up sooner rather than later. Question number 1 is the best book you've read so far in 2016. I'm actually cheating, picking the second best book I've read in 2016, which I will explain in the next question. But that for me is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Absolutely love this book. It is just so good. This story follows our main character, Blue Sergeant, who has grown up in a family of psychics but is not a psychic herself. She's told by many of the psychics in her family and psychics even outside of her family that she is destined to kill her true love if she kisses that person. The story starts to pick up after Blue meets a group of boys, which we have dubbed the Raven Boys. The story takes off as Blue and these boys go off on a crazy, bizarre, and slightly paranormal adventure. Question number 2 is your favorite sequel that you've read in 2016. This is actually my favorite book that I've read in 2016, but it's going here because it's the second book in a series, and it fits perfectly with this question, and that book is Crown of Embers by Rae Carson. This book is so good. And this is the second book in the Fire and Thorns trilogy. I do have a series review on that, so if you want to check it out, highly recommend. But the Fire and Thorns trilogy follows our main character, Eliza. And she is also a very self-conscious character. She is overweight. She is also the bearer of a Godstone, meaning she is a chosen one, and the person with the Godstone is destined to do something life-changing, world-changing. But she doesn't know what that is. Eliza is just a strong character with a huge amount of character growth, and I love where the story takes us with Eliza and with things. My favorite OTB of all time is in this book, and I'm a big fan. Big fan. Question number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet but really want to. For me, that is The Last Star by Rick Yancey. This is one of my favorite trilogies, and I am currently rereading The Infinite Sea. Did go to Rick Yancey signing, and it was wonderful. The Fifth Wave is a post-apocalyptic story in which we have aliens who have basically destroyed the world in ridiculous waves. And these waves have taken the form of taking out their power, using birds to carry diseases to kill people, tsunamis, waters, having people turn against each other, crazy things. And the story picks up in between the 4th and the 5th wave and follows, for the most part, our main character, Cassie, as she is trying to be reunited with her brother. I love the chase that Rick Yancey puts you through as a reader. I'm really excited to get to this book. I'm going to stop talking about it now. Question number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have 2. My first is Like a River Glorious, which is the sequel to Walk on Earth a Stranger. I loved Walk on Earth a Stranger so much, so I'm really excited to read this book. My second book that I'm really excited for is Bandat Volume 3. I talk about Bandat on this channel all the time, but it is a comic book series. It is a webcomic series, but I only read them after they are published in hardback trades, and I love them. It is written and illustrated by a husband and wife duo, Paul Tobin and Colleen Coover, and they are fabulous together. I love them. Bandette follows our little superhero Bandette, who is a thief who steals. She steals before someone else is going to steal thing, or steals it and gives it back to a museum, or things like that. It's almost a Robin Hood type idea. Not necessarily that, but that's the concept, I think, kind of ish. Question number 5 is your biggest disappointment of the year. For me, that is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I really did not like this book. I usually love Colleen Hoover books, and they always get me out of a reading slump. To give Colleen Hoover some credit, Ugly Love did get me out of a reading slump, but I really still hated this book. Probably my least favorite book I've read this year. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about because not worth our time. Question number 6 is your biggest surprise. For me, this would be the series of Unfortunate Events. I started listening to the series on audiobook. I was randomly looking through my Overdrive app. I didn't have an audiobook checked out, and that was randomly available. I just was like, okay, we'll listen to this. It's short. This is gonna be great, quick, whatever. Didn't expect it to be so wonderful. They're not like the best books ever. Like I said, I've given them all like 3 or 4 stars, but they are so enjoyable, so quick. Question number 7 is favorite new author, and that can be either a debut author or an author that's just new to you. For me, I'm going with an author that's new to me. I'm going with Maggie Stiefvater, who obviously wrote The Raven Cycle. I've never read anything by Maggie Stiefvater before, have not read the Shiver series, still haven't read the Scorpio Races, but I've loved The Raven Boys, as you probably already know. Question number 8 is your newest fictional crush. I don't really get fictional crushes too often, and that's probably because I've been in a serious relationship since I was 17. If I had to pick a fictional crush that I've discovered this year, it's actually from my most recent read, and that is Archie Comics Volume 1. I never read Archie as a kid, so I don't have this like nostalgia factor for Archie, but this comic book was so great. I loved it so much. Archie is just like the cutest, silliest, funniest character. Definitely would pick him as my fictional crush. Question number 9 is your newest favorite character. For me, this is Leah Westfall from Walk on Earth, a Stranger by Rae Carson. I'm sorry to be throwing the same author in this so many times, but Rae Carson is one of my favorites. And I read a lot of her books this year, so I can't help it. But Leah is a very strong and unique character. Walk on Earth, a Stranger is a very strong and unique story. And if you want to learn more about it, I have a review, and it's my favorite review I've ever posted on my channel. Probably one of my favorite videos that I've ever posted on my channel. Question 10 is a book that made you cry. I don't know when I read this book, but in the wrap-up where I read this book, I talked about how Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire made me sob like a baby. This is obviously a reread. I'm re-listening to all of the Harry Potter books on audiobook. I stopped at this one. Haven't listened to the 5th one yet. Only because this one made me sob like a baby, and I know the 5th one is going to make me sob even worse. So I'm kind of scared to read it. But as I was getting to the end of this book, I was on my lunch break from work. I was walking around Barnes & Noble, because I do that. And I just started bawling. And this book has never been one of my favorite Harry Potter books. It's not like the worst thing ever by any means. Harry Potter books are all 5 out of 5 stars, but if I was ranking them, this would definitely be closer towards the bottom. And I don't know what changed in this reread, but it affected me so much. It shot right up that list to like my 2nd favorite book in the series. Possibly my favorite, I don't know. At this point in the reread, it's my favorite, but we've got a couple more to go. But oh my gosh, I was a mess in public. It was great fun. And on the flip coin of that, question number 11 is a book that made you happy. For this, I am going with Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertelli. This is one of my favorite books I've read this year. It's so good, and I'm going to do a review on it very soon. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought this year. This is obviously Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. First of all, this font. First of all, this cover. First of all, this cover. Like, everything about this is beautiful. The font, the color, the tree, the art and design, the font. Like, I'm just in love with everything about this book. This book is beautiful clothed. This book is beautiful naked. This book is beautiful on its side. The insides of this book are beautiful as well. Question number 13 is, what are some books that you need to read by the end of the year? First and most importantly is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. Next is the Vampire Academy series. I also have the 2nd and 3rd books in the Winners trilogy. In terms of graphic novels, my biggest priority is Fun Home. I've been meaning to read this for years, and I have actually not listened to the musical because I wanted to read it first, which kills me inside in a way, because I think you guys know how much I love musicals, at least some of you do. And it's really such a pity that I have not listened to Fun Home. And that's because I haven't read Fun Home. I need to rectify all of these things, because this is just a problem. Big problem. Another one I need to read is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, because I haven't done that yet. Question number 14 is your favorite book community member. You're asking me to pick one. Ainsley from Books and Things, and Ainsley and I go way back in terms of BookTube, because she's one of those people that I've known from the beginning. I don't really know when we discovered each other's channels, but it feels like it's been a while, and I watch all of her videos. Like, you know how you have auto by authors? I have like auto watch booktubers, and Ainsley is like the top of that list. Right, so that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed, you should give it a thumbs up. You should also comment down below and let me know what your favorite book you've read this year is. If you haven't already, you should subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!